Today we are going to learn the fourth chapter of the book. The topic of the book is the Chinese civilization. The Chinese civilization. First, let us learn the location and origin of the Chinese civilization. Location and origin of the Chinese civilization. China was the cradle of one of the world's earliest civilization. China was the cradle of one of the world's earliest civilization. What is the meaning of the cradle of civilization? What is the meaning of the cradle of civilization? The cradle of civilization is a term referring to location where, according to current archaeological data, civilization is understood to have emerged. The cradle of civilization is a term referring to location where, according to current archaeological data, civilization is understood to have emerged. Current thinking is that there was no single cradle but several civilizations that developed independently with the Fertile Crescent. Mesopotamia and Egypt understood to be the earliest. Let us see a small video and understand the cradle of the civilization.
Cradles of civilization. Let's take a look at the map. There are 4 red marks blinking on the map. Do you know what they have in common? The red marks represent locations of ancient civilizations that appeared about 10,000 years ago. These civilizations were located close to large rivers, such as the Nile, the Tigris and Euphrates, the Indus, and the Yellow River. Being close to large rivers allowed civilizations to develop and flourish. But how did being close to large rivers help these civilizations? Well, early humans hunted animals and gathered plants for food. However, they could never travel too far from fresh water sources. Settling near rivers gave people basic resources, drinking water and food. In addition, it allowed people to start farming. The new farmers learned to use rivers for irrigation, bringing water to crops instead of waiting for rain. The farmers dug canals that brought river water to their fields, providing water for crops even in dry seasons. Irrigation also allowed farms to get larger by providing plenty of crops to support large communities. Eventually, small cities began popping up along the rivers. Rivers also connected these settlements, allowing people to trade crops and goods. They even led to development of money, writing systems, and written laws. Without rivers, civilization may have never begun.
This vast country is bordered by the Great Wall of China in north, the Pacific Ocean in east, broad desert and mountain in west, the Himalaya in south. This vast civilization is bordered by the Great Wall of China in north, the Pacific Ocean in east, broad desert and mountain in west, the Himalayas in south. Within these boundaries lie the valleys of 2 rivers. Within these boundaries lies the valleys of 2 rivers. The two rivers are Huanghe, or another name we can call Yellow River, Changjiang, or another name we called Yangtze River. Within these boundaries lie the valleys of two rivers. They are the Huanghe or Huangho and the Changjiang or Yangtze River. Due to fertile soils, temperate climate and waterways connecting various parts of this huge country provided ideal condition for the growth of a brilliant civilization about 4,500 years ago. Due to fertile soils, temperate climate, waterways helped this West civilization to develop earlier in 4,500 years ago. The river Huanghe was also known as Shore of China. The river Huanghe was also known as the Shore of China. Why was it called the Shore of China? Because its course after the floods caused destruction of crops, destroyed canals dug for the irrigation. People living on the banks of these rivers were specially affected. Why was it called Shore of the China? Due to its course after the flood, destroy the crops, destroy the canals dug for the irrigation. Peoples living on the banks of these rivers were specially or severely affected. The first known dynasty in China was the Shang dynasty. The first known dynasty in China was the Shang dynasty. The rise and fall of a succession of dynasties follow this. Each dynasty, however, made its contribution to the great Chinese civilization. The early Chinese civilization belongs to the Bronze Age and later made a transition to the Iron Age. The earlier Chinese civilization belongs to Bronze Age and later made a transition to the Iron Age. What does transition means? Transition means the process or a period of changing from one state or condition to another.